Welcome to the AIM special on, yes, a very special conclave, which is the AWS AI conclave. And we have been speaking with some amazing leaders. And today we have with us another such amazing gentleman who is joining us. He's the head of engineering, Mr. Manjunath Athrey from Yulu. Welcome to the show, sir. Pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
So, right off the bat, I'd like to ask you AWS, the conclave, how has it been for you? And maybe something that you could absorb from the engineering leadership point of view.
Before I get into engineering, I think I must speak about the energy
Okay.
that one feels as you come in. Any place when you get a number of people, the energy comes in automatically. But when you get people who are thinking on the same lines, that energy gets magnified to a large extent. When you walk around, when you hear words that are familiar to you,
True.
problem statements that you're staring yourself, trying to solve, then you suddenly your creative juices start flowing, right? You're interested in hearing more about it. So as I went through the day here, I found this whole session, the entire conclave, in fact, to be very interesting, very energizing. It's a long day, no doubt about that, physically tiring, but from a mental
You
perspective,
look
it's
very
very
motivated.
energizing. Yes, it is good. It has been a great
Because of the energy, then.
because of the energy, right? And attended few sessions here. And when you look at those sessions and we look at people who have solved the same problem that you are facing with,
Yeah.
right? It gives you an idea. It says something is possible. You can step up and you start making notes. You say, I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to my AWS guys and say, okay, help me out with something now. So that it becomes very encouraging to attend these things.
Fabulous. So, yeah, of course, I mean, that brings me to a natural segue as far as AWS is concerned. How has AWS as a platform helped you, especially your business and your ecosystem in your industry, to take it to scale?
AWS has been with us from day one,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if I can draw a simile, a startup is like a child,
Yep.
right? Everything is being learned on the fly. We are making mistakes, we are learning, and we are very eager to grow up quickly. And at that point, if there is somebody who's holding our hand, and when we fall down to hold our hand and bring us back onto our feet, that would be AWS. And I found that all these years, AWS has been with us throughout. And it's not just the company. In fact, I would like to point out that it's the people also. It's not just the technology, it's not the company, it's the people also.
But I
Uh,
believe, sir, it's always the people who make the company.
True, absolutely true. But sometimes when you work with individuals, an individual's personality
Yeah.
comes out as the defining reason why you want to be in relationship with that company,
Fair.
right?
Fair.
Both positive and negative. And we have been very fortunate to have an account team which actually goes the extra mile to ensure that Yulu keeps absolutely on its success path.
Wonderful. With the way AI has progressed, with the sheer aggression with which it has accelerated, how has it assisted Yulu? And what are you kind of seeing from both, let's say, the challenges point of view and overcoming them?
See, in the world of mobility, especially urban mobility, one of the key challenges that you see is demand prediction,
Hmm.
right? Mobility by itself is shifting. People are moving from one place to another. Growing city like Bangalore, and Delhi and Bombay and Hyderabad, where we are, right? It's a case of shifting sands, if you will, right? The demands keep moving. New communities come up, new areas come up, which suddenly ask for mobility solutions and all that. And even though the governments are doing their best to match to what the requirements are, there's still a gap, and that's where Yulu comes in. Says that the last mile part,
Hmm.
the first mile part, is where Yulu can play a part and make sure, especially and on the gig worker side as well, right? And again, when you look at the gig worker economy, they're reaching out to the corners of the city,
Yeah.
and that's where the government is struggling to provide transportation and commute facilities and all that, and that's where Yulu comes in. So in all of this, one of the challenges that comes up is in terms of prediction, and that's where AI comes into play, right? Because it reads the data, it understands, and it helps you predict, right? Saying that, okay, this could be a place where you may need X number of bikes, right? And that's prediction of demand. is one area where we have found AI to be absolutely helpful and, in fact, critical for our plans to grow. The other area where we see AI coming in is, at the end of the day, a bike is a mechanical device.
Yes.
Right? And over the course of time, as it runs through the city and all that, the maintenance of the bike becomes a very important critical factor.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the trick to this maintenance is your ability to predict when the maintenance needs to be coming in, right? So as we feed our data of the bikes into our AI system, what we get back is saying that, you know what, you are at a yellow stage. You better step in and start managing this bike before it moves to a red area, right? So that prediction of how to maintain, when to step in with the maintenance is another area where we've seen AI making a lot of support for us.
Fabulous. Of course, finally now, I'd like you to give a message or slash your takeaway from the AWS AI conclave, and also to the people like you mentioned earlier who are looking at a startup because it is a child, it is learning constantly. So, what would you like to say, sir?
2 words: be bold.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Because AI, and especially when you have a partner like AWS standing there with you, there's no reason for you to stop short of trying out new things, right? Try out new things. If you fail, that's still a learning, right? But more than likely, you will succeed. And there's nothing to be afraid of AI. We attended a session where we are talking about how AI is very good at a proof of concept stage, and there's a chasm between proof of concept and production. Fair enough, true enough. But that should not stop us from trying more and more ideas and see which one will take us to the production and make the world better than what we have today.
Nice, wonderfully said. Well, there you have it. That's Mr. Athrey, who is, of course, the head of engineering at Yulu, riding into the next chapter of brilliance with AI. Think AI,
Think
think AI.